So we'll get started in a seated position. One of the best ways to cope with anxiety, stress and everything else going on is to make ourselves nicely rooted to the earth beneath us. So I invite you as usual to close your eyes and make yourself as comfortable as you can be. So you don't have to sit cross-legged, I always say this, but please make sure that you're comfortable. So you can have legs spread, or you can be kneeling, you can use cushions under your sit bones, whatever you need. Close your eyes. And then just bring your awareness to your sit bones on the ground. Becoming very much aware of the sensation of being supported by the ground underneath you. And feeling your legs and your feet on the ground. And feeling the spine extending tall upwards towards the ceiling. Just take a few moments here to notice your breath. First of all, simply noticing the ebb and flow of each inhale and exhale. And now gradually start to bring the attention to the abdominal area. So we'll start using a very simple type of breath, which is actually the most natural one. We're born breathing like this, using our diaphragm, using our belly. If it helps, you can bring your hands onto your belly, and most of you have done this breath with me before. It's always good to repeat and refresh. So as you inhale, feel your hands expand if they're on your belly outwards. If not, imagine your belly is like a balloon inflated with your breath, and as you exhale, let it return to normal. And take a few more breaths like this. As you inhale, imagine that you bring all the air down into your abdomen, into your pelvis, the sides of your belly. And as you exhale, just let it go and release. Just a few more breaths, simply focusing on where the breath happens. And obviously after you breathe in through your belly, you will feel the chest rise as well. But breathing this way really helps us to activate the nerve that supplies the diaphragm, which is a muscle like all the other muscles. And this nerve is called the vagus nerve, and is one of the main afferents which brings information to the brain from the body. And when we stimulate that, stimulates parasympathetic, which is that rest and digest. So say you get home from work and you're feeling, or maybe you're not getting home from work, you're just at home anyway, but you finish work and you're feeling a little bit on edge. Just try and do a few breaths like this before you do anything else, before you have dinner, and see how it feels. I often do this breath when I'm driving because I tend to get stressed when I drive. And the other component to this breath is try to bring the same length to each inhale and exhale. So we bring this equality. And it could be that you breathe in for 4 seconds or 6 or 5 and breathe out for 4 or 6 or 5. So take a few more breaths like this, counting. Keep pushing the belly out slowly, inflating your belly, then letting the breath inhabit your chest with each inhale. And then feeling more grounded and exhaling for the same count. And take another 2 breaths like this. And as you keep breathing like this, just notice how you feel. As I welcome the last person joining us this evening, stay there for a moment. Just breathing in and out through your belly. And now if your hands are on your belly, bring them to the heart. Place the palms of the hands together and set your intention for this evening's practice, whatever that may be for you. It could be that the intention is that to learn how to balance your systems, or just simply being open to see what happens and what the practice brings. So now relax your hands onto your knees, open your eyes when you're ready, and we'll start to roll the shoulders back and down a few times. So another thing that helps us with anxiety, so basically one simple way to look at it is that accumulated stress over time brings anxiety, and anxiety can bring worries and fears and phobias, but also lead to depression. So the three are very much interlinked. And when we are feeling a bit low, we tend to close the front of the body. So we tend to sort of adopt these postures of looking down, really hunched. So another way, and there's actual scientific studies on this, our posture influences our mood. So, you know, I often get asked the question, is posture good, you know, important for your back pain or whatever? And the answer to that is actually no, but it is important to keep an erect and open posture for our mindset. So that said, we'll work with a little bit of opening now. So we're going to take the arms wide like a cactus. As you inhale, open the chest, and exhale, give yourself a hug. One elbow on top of the other. Just remember which elbow it is. And then breathe in again, open the front of the chest. And as you exhale, bring the opposite elbow on top and bring your hands around your shoulder blades. And again, breathing in, opening. And breathing out, nice hug to yourself. And one more time, breathing in to open. And exhale to round, other elbow on top. Lovely. Release the hands by your side now. And switch the crossing of your legs just for a little difference. Hands onto your knees, and we'll do some seated cat and cows in this position. Again, if cross leg doesn't suit you, you can just have the legs like this instead. So we're going to breathe in and pull the chest forward, tilting the sit bones back. And as we exhale, then we're going to separate the shoulder blades, pull the belly in and tuck the chin to the chest. Breath in again, slow movements, opening, trying to keep that equal breath in and out. And exhale, leaning back. So the practice of yoga, we know, is a practice of self-awareness and introspection. So really try to bring that element into it today. Feeling how it feels when you open and feeling how you feel as you round. Breathing in one more time, opening like this. And breathing out to round. And now we're going to take the hands by our sides from next time after you've come forward. Just a couple of side bends. So as you inhale, take the right arm above the head. And as you exhale, side bend towards your left. Opening here through the chest. So try to keep the chest facing sideways and open that right shoulder slightly up, looking up, breathing deeply. Last breath. And then bring yourself back to center. We go to the opposite side. Inhale. Left arm goes up. Exhale to the side. I'm trying to mirror you, so as usual, I'm getting confused myself. So try to keep this as a side bend, but also have a slight opening of the chest and the shoulder upwards. Breathing deeply. Last breath. And now coming back to center. Make your way onto hands and knees. Spread your fingers wide. Knees underneath. Or Yeah, knees underneath the hips. I got that right that time around. Spread your fingers wide and we'll start just making 3 circles in one direction with our body. Opening the sides, getting some movement into the shoulders. And 3 movements in the opposite direction. Then coming back to center, bring the knees right underneath the hips and we start with some cat and cow. So as you inhale, pay attention to the opening of the chest forward. And as you exhale, tuck the tailbone under, engage the core, press the ground away from you. Fall more like this, breathing in to open. Nice. And breathing out to round. And slowly opening. And slowly rounding. Last time like this. Again, doing a few cat and cows if you're feeling a bit anxious or a bit stressy. It's quite a nice way to calm ourselves down. Now bring the hands forward towards the front of the mat and let your chest melt down for heart melting pose. Anahatasana. Either bring the forehead or the chin on the ground. The chin only if your neck feels okay with that. Hips are high towards the ceiling. If you need to bend your elbows here slightly to give yourself a bit more support, then that's also fine. Just make sure you do what works. Feeling the back of your shoulders opening. And then slowly bring the elbows down if you're not already and bring the hips down, making space to come to a Sphinx pose. Untuck your toes and bring your feet a little wider. I always find that this helps to avoid any pressure on the lower back. So open the chest here, pull the elbows back and just take 3 breaths here, staying in this Sphinx pose. We're not looking all the way up, we're keeping the neck in a nice neutral position. Last breath. And then we'll start bringing a little bit more heat to the body. So as we inhale, we open the front of the body, pulling the elbows back. And as we exhale, you bring the chin to the chest, tuck the toes under, either lift onto the knees or you can lift all the way into elbow plank. Squeezing the glutes slightly. Nice. Then bring the hips back down and as you inhale, open the chest forward. And as you exhale, press the ground away from you, coming either into elbow plank or into knees, elbow plank. Good. Again, hips back down as you inhale. This is such a small movement, but so powerful. Exhale, press the ground away and lift. And we'll just do 2 more here. Breathing in to open and breathing out to round. Last one. Open, bring the hips down. Exhale, round, press the ground away from you and now hold this here for 5. Pull the belly in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now lower the knees down and after that effort, let's rest into a child's pose. So often I find that if I have a lot of pent up energy, actually it's no good to just try and relax by doing nothing or by doing too much restorative stuff. So in fact we actually have to expend some of that energy and move, and then after that we can bring in some rest and relaxation. So that's the idea, that's what I'm trying to give you today. So now from this child's pose, take one last restorative breath here. And then tuck the toes under and press your hips high to downward facing dog. First downward dog of the class, you can bend 1 knee at a time. Just make yourself comfortable in downward dog. Arrive into this pose. Chest towards your thighs, spread your fingers wide. And now come into stillness for one breath in through the nose. And you can sigh it out of the mouth. And then slowly tiptoe your feet all the way to your hands, coming into a forward fold. And then inhale, lift halfway as you get there, open the chest, push the hips back, and exhale, fold again. Breath in, reach the arms up, come all the way up to standing, and exhale, hands to your heart. We'll do some sun salutations with a little difference from usual. So bring the big toes together now and inhale, reach the arms up, squeeze the glutes, slightly open the chest forward and lean back as you do so. And as you exhale, pull the belly in, hinge at the hips, slight bend in the knees, fold forward. Halfway lift, breathing in here, the usual. Exhale, plant the hands and step the feet back into plank. This time from plank, we're going to lower the knees down, stick the bum back as if we're in that cow position, and then bend the elbows so that the chest and the chin comes on the ground, but the belly is lifted, which is a bit of a weird position. But then from here, you're going to untuck the toes and press yourself open into a mini cobra as you inhale. It took me years to find how to do that, by the way. And exhale, back towards child's pose. Drag the hands back behind your heels as you lift the chest. And then open the chest here, maybe lift the hips as you inhale. Exhale, bring the hips back down. And we're going to go for some dancing camels. So you're either going to keep the hands on the ground or on your lower back, depending on the degree of your flexibility in your back. So if your fingertips are on the ground, it's going to look like this as you inhale. If your fingertips are on your back, it's going to look a little more supported like that. And then we switch. So go with whichever hand first as you inhale, open. And as you exhale, bring it back down. And breathing in, open the opposite way. And breathing in, back down. Again, one more each side. If you're going faster than me or slower than me, go at your own pace. And back down. And then slide your hands forward, tuck the toes under, and press your hips high to downward facing dog. Take an inhale here, and exhale out. And then walk your feet to your hands in whichever way you want. Big toes together. Inhale, lift halfway as you get to the front of the mat, and exhale to fold again. Press down into the feet, inhale, rise up to standing, and exhale, hands to heart. Again, breath in, arms up, open the chest, slightly lean back, exhale, fold over your legs. Halfway lift, inhale, exhale, plant your hands, step the feet back into a plank. Lower the knees down, breathe in to open the chest into that cow. Exhale, bend the elbows lower down in this weird chaturanga. Untuck the toes, flatten your bum, bring the belly on the ground as you open into a cobra. And then exhale back to child's pose. Bring the hands, not your mat, just the hands back behind your heels and inhale, open the chest, maybe lift the hips. Exhale, back down. And this time, one on each side of dancing camel. Inhale, open. Exhale, back down. Beautiful, everyone. Breathe in left side, or whichever other side is my left. Exhale, back down. And then glide the hands forward, plant the hands, lift the heels back to downward dog. One inhale in downward dog. And one exhale. Lift the heels, tiptoe your feet to your hands, or any other way into a forward fold. Breath in to lift halfway, and exhale to fold. Inhale, reach the arms up, come all the way to standing. Exhale, hands to heart, press the palms of the hands together. Nice, we'll do one more like this. Breath in to open, exhale to fold. Keeping your breaths nice and long. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step the feet back into a plank. Bring the knees down. Inhale, tilt the sit bones up, open chest. Exhale, chest and chin on the ground. Then untuck your toes. Inhale, flatten yourself and open into a cobra of your depth. And exhale, back towards child's pose. Drag the hands back at the same time. Breathing into open here, hands behind you. And then exhale straight away, hips back down, hands at the front of the mat. Tuck the toes into downward facing dog. And from downward dog, we're going to take the feet and bring them all the way to the front of the mat again. Bring the big toes together. This time, bend your knees and sit into chair pose, reaching the arms up or forward. So chair pose is another great pose for when we're feeling a little anxious or if we suffer from panic, worries and things like that. Because we've got big muscles in our legs, and like I say, the stress response prepares us to fight or fly away or run away. So if we don't get rid of that energy, it can stay with us and make us feel really unwell. Instead, if we use it and we get our legs tired and we try and breathe deeply at the same time, then that nervous energy is going to go into our legs. Put very simply, but that's what happens. So sit back a little bit more. Take 2 more breaths. And then exhale, forward fold. Straighten those legs. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, plant your hands and step your feet back into plank. This time you can do whatever version of vinyasa you want. So you can go traditional, bending the elbows and lowering halfway, chaturanga. Inhale into upward dog if you're ready for it. And pull the belly in to take you back to downward dog. Nice. From downward dog, take the right leg up as you inhale. And exhale, bring the right knee to the nose and step the right foot between the hands. Left foot to 45-degree angle. We rise up, warrior 1. Open the chest. Lift as high as you can with your arms. And tuck the tailbone under here. Last breath. As you exhale, hands back down. Step the right foot back into plank. And then step the left foot forward. And right foot to 45. Nice. Warrior 1 on the left side. Inhale again, using those big muscles in our legs. And exhale, sinking a little deeper. And it's funny how actually to have a strong back bend and chest opener, we need strong legs. So it's almost like the 2 things that help us with that closeness of the anxiety and the depression. They kind of go together. So take another breath. And then bring the hands down. Step your feet back into plank and move through your vinyasa. Bend the elbows. Inhale, open the front of the body. Exhale, tuck the toes back to downward facing dog. And again here, if you want to, you can go into child's pose for 5 breaths.